Our team of Newsy correspondents is covering the story both at home and abroad. Jason Bellini leads us off from Kyiv tonight.
A weapon system designed to instill fear. Russian video of a powerful Iskander missile launcher that they claim is now inside Ukraine. But at the start of the third month of a war where Ukraine has devastated Russian units, the fear factor cuts both ways. Now both sides are preparing for a brutal and bloody war of attrition. On the Eastern Front, the Ukrainians are fighting back. Our artillery is very effective because it can hit them from a big distance, says a Ukrainian fighter. They are scared of it, 100%. They used to feel much safer, he says. Ukrainian forces are also digging huge trenches around the eastern city of Zaporizhzhia. A Ukrainian military leader says these fortifications are meant to save the lives of our soldiers as they defend the city. It's another sign of the reality setting in. This is a nasty, brutish stage of the war that could also be long. The destruction includes critical infrastructure that Russia once hoped to control, but instead now tries to destroy. As evidenced by Russian strikes Monday on 5 railroad stations in the central and western parts of the country, far from the front lines. Those front lines now extend 300 miles, not just in the east, but to the 2 major cities on the sea. In Mariupol, Ukrainian forces released video they say is of the 1,000 civilians, many of them children, sheltering under the vast steel mill pounded by Russian bombs. The head of those forces pleading for safe passage, saying they cannot hold out much longer. And now there are fears that Odessa could be the next Mariupol, after Russia struck apartment buildings on Easter. A father posting a photograph of his wife and 3-month-old baby killed in the strike. President Zelensky responding with anguish and anger. Among those killed was a 3-month-old baby girl. How did she threaten Russia, he asks. It seems that killing children is just a new national idea of a Russian Federation. We will identify all those responsible for this strike, those responsible for Russia's missile terror, he says. Everyone who gives these orders, everyone who fulfills these orders, no one will be able to hide.
Newsy correspondent Jason Bellini is in Kyiv, Ukraine tonight. Jason, you were at that unusual press conference with President Zelensky on Saturday night. What more can you tell us about it?
Hey there, Bianca. It was unusual, and one of the reasons was the location. It was down in a subway, and I'm talking deep down. We had to go through multiple escalators, one of the longest escalators I've ever been on. Was this for safety reasons? That was probably a factor. In fact, they didn't even tell us that it was going to be a press conference with President Zelensky. We suspected so, but they put us on the list along with the others to be there, and there were literally trains going through, and you can only imagine what people must have been thinking who were on those trains, who were going through the station, and they saw their president in the middle of a press conference. But the other thing I should say is what Zelensky was like during that press conference. We've seen so much of him over the recent months, but I've never seen him so angry and so passionate, and he used words to describe Russia that I hadn't heard him use before. He apparently hasn't used before. He was calling he was throwing rhetoric back at the Russians, saying that they were the Nazis, and his level of anger over the atrocities that have been committed here, and he just expressed that in the most passionate of terms, Bianca.
Well, earlier in the war, we were hearing so much about Javelin anti-tank missiles being sent by the U.S. to help Ukraine. What kind of weaponry is Zelensky asking for now?
That's right, Bianca. Well, that was then. This is now. Now, new type of war on the Eastern Front. And this is a war that involves heavy weaponry. And the Ukrainians won't just be able to knock out Russian tanks, be able to target Russian tanks. That's what those Javelin missiles were for. Now they need heavy artillery, and so that's what they've been asking for from the United States, and the U.S. is obliging, sending over howitzers, the long-range artillery, so they can try to fight back against the Russian artillery and Russian tanks. This is going to be more traditional type warfare. The question is whether this artillery and whether this new heavy weaponry will arrive in time. The weaponry the U.S. is sending is not weaponry that the Ukrainians know how to use, so they have to get trained on it first. So they're actually being sent out of the country, being trained by Americans, so the Americans aren't going into Ukraine. Ukrainians are coming to them, getting trained, coming back in, and our understanding is the artillery is starting to come into the country, heading to the Eastern Front for the battle that is heating up right now. Bianca?
Newsy correspondent Jason Bellini, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.